Now, if you can hear that in the background, that is it pissing it down, which means the video I was going to do this weekend, I cannot because of the weather. It needs to be filmed outside. So I'm inside the workshop where it's also kind of pissing it down. My workshop clearly has more holes than a sieve. But luckily, the part where the GTR is mostly dry, so we are going to be cracking on with this. And in the last video, guys, yeah, we revealed the extent of the damage under the skin, and yeah, it's quite bad. So obviously the impact being more here has pushed this inside panel in, but it has also done some other damage. So if we look here, look, this part is all kinked here. This window bit is kinked here as well, and I've also noticed the top of the rear window has kinked as well. So if we go inside, you can see that kink there as well. So yeah, the damage is quite extensive. So what we're going to do now is get the dozer back out and try and pull this panel out to try and straighten this a little bit, and then it's just going to be a case of unpicking spot welds, removing panels, and going back until we don't find any more damage. But yes, it's quite a lot. So I think this main bit here is good, apart from this tiny little bit here, which I'm happy I can just hammer back round. But I think we'll be okay with this bit. So that, I believe, is going to be our starting point, and then obviously we can build backwards and build it back up. Now this panel over here I also think is okay. It doesn't look fractured or anything like that. The impact on the rear was down lower. So I think this bit's okay. So that also will be another point. So basically we need to replace, I need to get rid of, see where these panels join, but it looks like we'll be cutting this rear light section out where the lights sit, and replacing probably down this whole box section here, and then obviously everything in the middle here will be replaced as well. But the other thing is whether these bits, I mean, that's yeah, that's the bit we need to concentrate on really. I might start with this bit because I think this bit's going to be okay. It's this bit is the slightly worrying part. So let's start off with a dozer. We'll try and pull this kind of out as much as I can, and yeah, we'll start drilling. I've also bought some spot weld drill bits as well, so that should fasten things up a little.
So we've got the dozer back out. We need to pull some more of the car now. We've got the outer skin off, and we're starting this corner, just pulling this corner back to where I think it normally sat. And I've got most of it out, to be honest. Quite happy with that.
Right, so I've probably pulled this now as much as I can. I've got it pretty much flat in there, and I'm actually quite happy with how much this is pulled out. So now we're just going to start. I've already tested my new spot weld drilling tool, which works well. So I'm now just going to crack on and start removing panels by panels until we get back to some good panels that aren't bent.
So I'll leave you just to watch through this time lapse, but it's just mostly, well, it is just me drilling and more drilling. There's a lot of spot welds to undo, and it just takes a lot of time. So I'll just let you watch it.
Right, so 2 more damaged panels removed, and I'm actually fairly confident that the panel from here down the back of the car up to the boot, or where the lights go, is actually okay. Now, I said there was a slight kink here, but it was a very slight one, and I've actually managed to hammer it out. And you can see that it's no longer there. The kink is gone, and I've just checked the other quarter panel and it's now matched exactly. So I'm now confident this is actually okay, and that was just a very slight push up from here. But as I said, I actually hammered it back out without even actually hammering the underside. I just tapped this and it spread itself back flat. So I'm really happy with that. And going down here, look, this all looks absolutely fine. So it got me thinking, obviously we need to replace this part here, which is all part of this big panel, and the other downside is this big panel goes right underneath here, and is part of the whole inside up to there, which is why it's going to be difficult to replace this part. So if we don't need to, I'm thinking I can just cut from here
to here and then weld, obviously keep this part and then cut the same bit on the new quarter panel and weld this bit in, all this here. That's my thinking. Now what I'm going to do to check the accuracy of these panels and to make sure that this panel isn't bent or distorted at all is, you can see it here, look, I have bought myself a laser. So I have obviously the new quarter panel with, and this is going to have this same panel attached to it, and obviously that one is straight and true. So what I can do is I can use the laser here to measure all sorts of well, angles, etc., just to make sure that this panel is 100% and not bent. So I can do things like right on the corner there where it sits, I can see where it lines up, like that hole there, for example. So if I can do loads of different measurements with the laser like that, I'll be able to find out 100% if that panel is straight, and that is what I'm going to do. So for now, I'm just going to cut off here, as I said, there to there, and then I'm going to drill out the rest of these panels, and then we're going to start looking at down the bottom there to see what we can do with that.
Yep, as you were, more drilling.
Now this bottom section was actually really tricky because the bit that I'm just hammering here, it actually sits inside the main B-pillar frame that you can see on my right hand side there, and trying to drill out the spot welds, I was doing it but it was still absolutely solid, and that's because there are some spot welds underneath that main B-pillar, and that's why I was really struggling. I didn't realize it, which means we're gonna have to remove that whole B-pillar piece, which is not ideal. Now I know that the top section of the structure is okay, so I'm going to use my laser line and actually just cut where I think is good to replace, and then remove the bottom panel, because I don't want to remove that whole top panel because I know it's good. So we're going to cut there, look, and remove everything else that's damaged. Now after tackling this corner here, I've just come to the realization that I'm going to have to remove this bit of structure here. Luckily it isn't too bad. It's not like it's the main bit of structure. There is a bit behind it as well, and also our main chassis, so it looks more integral than it is, I think, but in reality this bit of section here goes in between here, and there's a couple of spot welds in there. To get this out properly, this needs to come off, and also to get this panel out properly as well, I'm gonna have to remove this, because what I'm finding is this is 3 layers thick, and some of the welds for this are behind this panel, so it's just not knowing where they are. So yeah, in reality I've got to remove it to do it all properly, so that's the next task.
So this B-pillar piece here was actually the hardest bit to remove because it's quite a bit thicker than the other panels, and also at some points there's 3 panels joined to 1, so I've had to drill through 2 and sometimes 3 layers of skin to be able to get this B-pillar off. So yeah, it's definitely the most tricky one.
I actually got bored of filming this on the time lapse because it was taking so long to get off, but it should now just fold off, which is why I've recommenced filming, and it should just, there we have it, she is off. There was a sensor plugged into it which I've just broken, which is not ideal.
Now this last piece on the rear here, round where the tail light would sit, it was quite tricky because it's really thin and flimsy, this bit of metal, and I clearly failed to stop the car from moving, so that annoyed me as well, but never did anything about it. Yeah, as I said, just quite flimsy, but I managed to eventually get it all out, and that was the last piece on the rear. It removed all the damage. So on the rear, we are good. We are back to a blank page.
Right, so after many more hours of drilling, I think I'm not there at all, actually. I don't know what to do about this bottom bit. It's really bad, actually. This must have been one hell of an impact, because it's gone through 3 to 4 layers just to crumple that bit as well. So, I mean, you can see there where we're at now. I mean, I've removed one, two, three, 4 layers deep to get to this bit, and yeah, you can still see it's properly crumpled there. That's where the subframe sits at the bottom there. I mean, this is all bent in as well. It's bent in here. You can see where it's crumpled inside there. So yeah, this is actually quite bad, the damage here. I have watched the Performance Rebuilds channel, their GTR, which is quite similar, but they had more damage here, but they didn't have any damage down this bottom corner here. So really I need to work out what's best to do here, because obviously with a subframe bolt into it as well, it's got to be spot on. But just going over the rest of it, this will come out. There's just one bolt left on the bottom, which I'm done. But this frame here come off, A pillar, B pillar come off all okay, and we've got the inside bit out there okay, and the back end is all now good as well. I just removed what we need to replace on that. I've ended up butchering this little piece here a little bit because it just wouldn't come out. There's hidden welds, so I'm probably going to replace this bit as well. It only literally goes from here to here anyway, so I'll replace that as well. But we've got the rear light unit bit out there as well, and that whole box section is out good, and there's no more damage here now on the rear end apart from the damage I've just made. So kind of here backwards we're all good and ready to rebuild. It's just this bottom bit here that is going to be the tricky bit, and a little bit stumped at the minute because I'm not sure how best to tackle this. Let me know in the comments what you think. Yeah, we can see, look, so those bits with the 2 holes, black holes in, that's where it's crumpled. So it's this bit here, the wheel arch, and that bit of section there, and obviously down the bottom as well. Yeah, so now looking at the new bit, you can see how much that is crumpled up. Look, them 2 black bits there, completely visible. So this section here has actually just been squashed right up, and that's a very intricate piece, which I just don't think you could actually replace that. Looking at it, it goes inside of the main chassis rail at all, and I don't see how you're supposed to replace that, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, I don't really know.
So yeah, going to end the video on a kind of a bittersweet there, because we've got really good progress, nearly halfway, but our main bit of damage is still on the car, and I don't really know the best way to tackle it at the moment. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Let me know in the comments how you think best to tackle that a little bit, because I do not know at the minute. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, follow me on Instagram at saving_salvage. In the next video, we'll work out a way how to fix this, and also then start stripping the new offside rear quarter as well. So thank you, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. It's probably going to be the RS4 video. Cheers, guys.